The University of Maine Lobster Institute hosted the 2025 annual U.S.-Canada Lobster Town Meeting. Will Wagner went to Bar Harbor to see what it was all about.
Lobster industry leaders from across coastal New England and the Maritimes met in Bar Harbor for an annual two-day meeting.
Really just bridging that divide between the U.S. lobster industry and the Canadian lobster industry, and helping everybody understand that we rely on each other, whether it's for markets, whether it's for infrastructure. We don't exist without our partners north of the border, and we compete, but we also collaborate.
During the meeting, those in attendance focused on the latest research, regulations, as well as the market.
We started out with some science panels, and those were scientists talking about some of the work that they're doing, monitoring the resource, and science that also goes into inform regulation. And then we went on to a regulatory panel where we talk about how different provinces and states and our federal governments work to regulate the fishery and maintain the health of the resource. And then this morning we were talking about more what's happening out in the marketplace and how different companies are dealing with changes in the marketplace.
Some say gathering under one roof helps people get on the same page.
It's also a great opportunity for industry and science to talk, so we bridge a lot of divides that are typically existing in this industry right here at this meeting, and the more folks can talk, the better off it is for everybody.
Will Wagner, WABI News, Bar Harbor.